The Chiefs are coming out for a reckoning this year. Everybody downplayed their success last year. Those guys, they took offense to it, as they should. Hey, look, man, we are coming out here for blood.
So Jason Dunn was a tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs for 8 years, playing alongside Tony Gonzalez for most of that, and has more NFL knowledge than most people, including me, ever will. Well, in today's video, he not only shares some unique perspectives from his NFL career, but he gives his detailed thoughts on the state of the Chiefs roster heading into 2025. Oh, and he's convinced the Chiefs will put the league on notice this year, and they are not ready for what's about to happen. So let's get into the reasons why he thinks that and much more. But first, how about those? Well, Jason, it's long overdue. Thanks so much for hopping in. I've only had one Chiefs player on the channel, and that's Nazeeh Johnson. You are my second former Chiefs player, but long time with the Kansas City Chiefs, playing alongside Tony G, Trent Green. A lot of fun years because that was part of my childhood, watching you growing up. How are you doing today? And I guess on top of that, how are you feeling about just the Chiefs and the draft and how things are looking so far for them?
I'm doing great, Cole. I really am. And thank you so much for inviting me on the show. But man, I'm doing great. Just watching what we've done in the draft really gives me really a positive attitude as far as where the direction of this team is going. Not just for now, but the foreseeable future. And I think that's what you look at for the draft is what is going to be effect later on down the road, when you're thinking about contracts and everybody else moving in a different way, who's going to be left here, right? Picking up the pieces. Is there going to be somebody that's going to be able to come in and produce like we've seen the guys that's been here now? And so those are things that I see that we were able to kind of attack. They had a great game plan going into the draft, and I think they got the guys that they liked. I was really pleased with it. At Chiefs Concerns, man, we had a couple of guys that we did, kind of talk about that the Chiefs did pick up, and we were really happy about that over there.
Yeah, you mentioned it, and I did want to plug that. Chief Concerns, that's the podcast, YouTube channel that you do over there with Marcus Dash, and it's a really unique channel. For those watching, if you're not familiar with it, I'll pop it up on screen so you can see it, but it's unique in the sense of I don't think there's a lot of YouTube channels with a Chiefs focus that has a former longtime Chiefs player a part of that. So it's a very unique perspective that not a lot of other YouTube channels, especially in the Chiefs space, we're not able to relate at a level that you are. So I think it's a very unique channel that is well worth checking out. Appreciate all the work you do over there. You've also been interviewing some people, a couple, I think, UDFAs. Who's some people you might have your eyes on right now? The Chiefs have their 90-ish man roster. It'll continue to flip around a little bit on the back depth piece guys. But who are some guys you have your eyes on as we get ready for mandatory minicamp in June?
The undrafted free agents. One of the guys that I wanted here was Jake Bringenstool. He was a guy that tight end at Clemson who set records over there at Clemson for receptions. And he's a very athletic guy. 6'6", probably like 243, 244, Cole. He can move. He's very good in man. He's good in zone. When you watch him play, he reminds me of like a Gesicki, if you will. And so he actually said he kind of, likened this game to Gesicki. And so when we're talking about Travis Kelce, as I said before, that some of these guys, what it's going to look like when these guys leave, and then Travis Kelce, I think this might be his last hurrah going out on the shield. Who's going to be left over? We know Noah Gray is a capable tight end. Also, too, Jared Wiley. But, hey, we got this guy right here, undrafted free agent, and Jake Bringenstool, man, is going to be a guy that I think is going to make some noise. Another guy that we had gotten in, we had him on the show, was Major Williams.
Safety.
Safety, man. And the thing is, if you go to our show and go check it out, and I like what you said about the unique perspective. I think we do bring something maybe a little bit different. Try to bring, pull back the curtains on what these things look like. But talking to Major, you could see the passion in his voice. You could tell that he's ready. And he comes from a small school, so you could tell he's still hungry about coming in and trying to make a name for himself. So those are two guys I see as far as undrafted free agents.
Let's pause there for a half second, because I did want to talk about Bringenstool momentarily, just because tight end, UDFA, he plays 60% out of the slot. Like, he's very intriguing if he can catch on for life after Kelce. I'm not saying he's going to be a Kelce replacement or anything crazy like that. Never thought you would even find your Tony Gonzalez replacement, to be honest, like as far as like that receiving tight end that could just always find himself getting opened. Then they went, it was a few years that lapsed, but they ended up getting Travis Kelce, and he's been that guy. So Briningstool is definitely interesting to me, but I wanted to ask you, because your last year in the NFL, I believe you were the age of 34. That was in 2007 with the Chiefs. I'm 34 right now. Kelce is about to be 36 in October. My body hurts really bad from years of Taekwondo. I never even took hits like that in football or anything. How are you feeling your last year in the NFL? And then how is Travis Kelce able to do what he's doing at 35, about to be 36?
Oh, man. I tell you what. My last year in the league, I felt okay. I felt all right. But it was, you could tell, compacted, hits and injuries started to add up to me. My back was one of the things I had to struggle with in 2006. But, man, when you start getting up to like year 11, 12, those things really start to hurt. It's hard to get out of bed. And so it's kind of predicated as far as how you take care of yourself, right, Cole? And playing a contact sport like you did, I mean, these things is not for the weak of heart. It's just not. And so you just got to kind of know going into it, like when you start getting to that age of 34, 35, everybody believes, oh, man, that's young, which it is. It's a young age. But for a tight end or any NFL player, it's like dinosaur years. That's what it is. It's like
getting up there.
Yeah, it really is. So I feel good. I think Travis Kelce last year might have shown a little bit of a regression, maybe because of some of the injuries that he compounded over the years. But one thing he did, Cole, he vowed that he was going to get his body right. He was going to get it ready for this time. And I think he does a great job as far as during the offseason, preparing himself, getting his body ready. Him like Tony Gonzalez. Tony played for 17 years. And when I sit there and I watch Travis, man, you watch a guy that's still playing at a high level. He got 90-something balls last year? I mean, that's phenomenal just to kind of watch. So it's a hard thing, man, but I know Travis takes care of his body really well.
It seems like before Rashee Rice injured his knee, and you can relate because I know you had a knee injury, not exactly the same, but I think there was some similar repairs you had done back in 99 when you didn't end up playing that year. That was when you were finishing up your season there with the Eagles, let go by Andy Reid, come to Kansas City, and then, hey, Andy Reid wanted to be like you a few years later after all. But I know you dealt with a knee injury, and Jared Wiley, he's coming off of a knee injury. With the injury of Rice, before he got injured at least, the offense was funneling completely through him. Like, it looked like maybe Kelce wasn't going to be the main guy, which is fine because of his age, and you try to preserve his body for the playoffs, which he went nuclear in at least one of those games in the playoffs, over 100 receiving yards. But you saw the shift happen. Once Rice went down to injury, then they obviously had Hollywood Brown injured. There's just some unfortunate injuries there that I think forced Kelce to step up in a way that I don't know that they should have had to lean that heavily on him. This year, hopefully, the room stays healthy because you've got Rice, you've got Worthy, you have Hollywood back. Royals, we'll see how he pans out. And then hopefully that means you don't have to just lean so heavily on Kelce all season long. You can kind of preserve his body, maybe save his snap counts a little bit. The tight end room, I'd love to get your thoughts on that as well, just because it's in a unique spot with Noah Gray. He's there, but Jared Wiley, you have him. He's coming off the ACL. I don't even know if he's going to start playing or start the season playing. He might take a little while to still rehab back. What are your thoughts on the wide receiver room and what you think they could do to kind of maybe just help Kelce in what could be his last year? He's going to want to be out there all the time. We know that. You wanted to be out there. Everybody wants to be out there. But what could they do to kind of help him, save him from himself as far as longevity for this season?
Well, I think you said it. I think it's about remaining healthy. Rashee Rice, I mean, he caught friendly fire, right? Travis, was Patrick Mahomes, nothing he did himself. Same thing with Hollywood Brown. He dives for football. He goes down and, his collarbone. So these things do happen on a football field. I think what we do see now is the amount of guys that we do have in the room that are capable to come in when maybe a Rashee Rice or Hollywood Brown kind of goes down is the most promising part for it, right? Xavier Worthy, he's a first-round pick. We didn't quite know what it was going to be. We didn't know. And so he had to grow up immediately at that moment saying, hey, man, guess what? You're the guy. You're the number one guy. And so Travis Kelce, in all of his glory, being the hero that he is, he's going out there catching footballs. The first few games when Rashee Rice was playing, we didn't see a whole lot of Travis catching balls. And so I think if those guys remain relatively healthy, they're going to be fine. We got Xavier Worthy, Juju Smith-Schuster, you said Jalen Royals. Those guys could come in and absolutely take some a little bit of the pressure off Travis Kelce in the tight end room. But, Cole, I will say this. You mentioned it. Jared Wiley, Noah Gray, Jake Bringerstool, Travis Kelce. We have a very capable, when I say the best tight end room in the NFL. No question about it. Hands down, there's nobody even close. And I think what any of those dudes do, him and Nagy, they incorporate the tight ends really well in the offense. And I think they have to do so this year as well to be very successful.
And before I get into the rest of this awesome conversation, I need to tell you about the delicious sponsor of today's video, Good Chop. They deliver high-quality American meat and seafood straight to your door, which helps you remove the guesswork of hitting or missing out on certain cuts at the grocery store. These cuts are not only vacuum sealed and frozen at peak freshness so your freezer stays stocked, but they deliver it to you on your schedule so you can cook what you want when you want. Plus, with over 100 cuts to choose from, there's definitely something for everyone, from wild-caught seafood to organic chicken, USDA choice and prime steaks, and so much more. My family loves quality protein, and that's why we've been enjoying Good Chop for well over a year now. This go-round, we grilled the ribeye steaks for a fantastic dinner. The boneless, skinless chicken breasts were excellent over a salad, and my personal favorite this time was the mild Italian pork sausage links. But you already know, whatever they send, we happily cook it up and devour it. There's a lot more to love about Good Chop. They source their meat and seafood from American farms and fisheries. Their base plan prices have stayed the same for over 4 years to help provide a great value, and they believe in their quality so much that they offer a 100% money-back guarantee. Either love Good Chop or get your money back. So to support local family farms and independent ranchers in the U.S. as well as my channel, go to goodchop.com/YouTube and use code HBTC50 or click the link in the description down below to get $50 off plus free shipping on your first box. Again, that's goodchop.com/YouTube and use code HBTC50 to get $50 off plus free shipping on your first box. I want to pivot to talk, because I think this is where we were going and I kind of cut you off. You were talking UDFAs that were intriguing to you, and I think you might have potentially been pivoting to draft picks. Before we get to just maybe a couple draft picks that you have your eyes on that were intriguing picks for the Chiefs this year, you think could maybe play some type of a role, impactful role this year. Your rookie year, as far as receiving stats go and all that, that was one of your standout years. You're coming out of college and you're getting the ball and running all around. How was that your rookie year? What was it like? Just take the average fan, which is me and most people watching, take us through like what all these rookies right now that the Chiefs drafted, they're kind of going through and preparing. And then just tell me a little bit about your rookie year. I would just love to hear what your first year in the NFL was like.
It was a whirlwind. It was 1,000 miles an hour, it felt like, every single week. It was something new, it's just a new experience, a new journey within itself. This is something that you wanted to be able to do your entire life. And my rookie year, man, it was, trying to come in and establish yourself with veterans. I came in, I started, my rookie year, actually made the all-rookie team. And so I had some success. I was trying to play with the guys, and that was another thing too, is trying to play around guys that is already established, right? Urban Fryer, I had Charlie Gardner, Ricky Waters, Kevin Turner. I had Ty Detmer and Rodney Peete throwing the ball to me. You know what I mean? And so these are guys that I've seen, on TV. And not to mention, Cole, the guys I was going against every single week. I went against Reggie White, Bruce Smith, Charles Haley, Kevin Green. I had this week in and week out. So you talk about an introduction to the NFL. In my mind, it was, can I play with these guys? That was really what I wanted to kind of at least convey to myself, get that confidence. And so with these rookies coming in, I know their heads are spinning, just not the media pressure, but also too trying to perform on the team. And so you just try to create some type of balance, especially in that first year, trying to fit. When I seen Xavier Worthy, I could feel exactly how he felt the entire first year, of just getting like a little bit of the cheers from the crowd and whatnot, right? And so it is something that is magical. Guys are I don't think anybody's prepared for it. You just got to kind of jump in and just see how it's going to go. But for the guys that's coming in right now, and as far as the draft picks, they're on a ride. They are on a ride right now, Cole.
I always listen to their pressers rookie minicamp, and they all kind of just say the same thing. Just trying to learn as much as I possibly can because, yeah, there's a lot. I mean, I think a big thing is just the complete new language. It's just a whole different terminology, at least for the Chiefs. I mean, it goes like that from team to team too, but I'll be very intrigued just to see how it pans out. I mean, we'll see. They got a head start. They had rookie minicamp, mandatory minicamp, so when the vets will kind of come in. Who are some rookies that the Chiefs drafted? I mean, we mentioned Royals, but is there anybody else you kind of have your eye on in the sense of like, hey, I liked this pick, and I'm intrigued to see how he pans out, whether it was a first-round pick, seventh-round pick? Who's a couple guys you might have your eye on for this year or even just future in general?
Oh, man, I could speak about every single one of them. But the main one, Josh Simmons was one that I wanted here. I was probably the first one that was talking about, we need to get this guy here. The type of talent that he has, if he's, as far as his injury, if it's starting to heal, which it is, he's going to be a great left tackle. And not just for the Chiefs, but like in the future. He could be one of the, like really the great ones. Just because of his athletic ability, his strength and his power. When you see him in a presser, he's very balanced. You know, you notice somebody who understands what they are and what they're going to be. Not to mention Norman Lott is another guy I'm very intrigued about, a defensive tackle. I think he's going to be able to help out. He's going to fill in for Turk, where Turk left off. He's going to fit right in with the defensive line. Even Gelate, Gelate, another one, defensive end from Louisville. I like him a lot. He's got that flowing hair that's going to be looking good out the helmet, and everybody's going to be wondering, man, who was this guy? Ashton Gelate, man, he's going to be one making noise. But I think they did a great job all over the place, right? Bashar Smith as a running back. How's he going to fit with the guys coming in, especially with those veterans in front of him? Has Pacheco Hill, what is going to learn from Kareem Hunt, right? What is Mitchell? What is going to learn from those guys? But I could go each and every one of them. But Josh Simmons, for sure, for me. Bashar Smith is another one. Even Noah Williams. What's Noah Williams going to do?
It's my favorite guy.
Oh, okay.
I mean, with rookie draft picks, you just never know. And some of them might just be playing special teams this year. The cornerback room's really deep. But Noah Williams, the idea of the ball hawk that he is, 14 career interceptions, doesn't shy away from contact, loves to play the run. I mean, he's just a press physical corner that is like a Spags prototype. And with a lot of those guys from the 2022 draft class, Jalen Watson, Josh Williams, maybe Najee Johnson as well, like all these guys are on the last year of their rookie deal. We don't know if they're going to return. So you've got Christian Fulton that you signed in free agency for a couple years, but then Noel Williams, that helps your future, but also depth, as we saw last year, just how valuable depth should be or can be, needs to be when injuries hit that room. They didn't anticipate after trading Snead away, Jalen Watson would break his ankle. Same with Pacheco broke his ankle. I mean, so many guys were injured, but just that valuable depth, so important. And I love your first two rookies that you mentioned were trenches. As a longtime blocking tight end in the NFL, don't worry, you could go up and get it too, you could catch it, but you know how important it is to win games by executing your assignment to protect your quarterback or the running back, to let these plays develop. What is something that you saw last year? I mean, obviously it's won or lost in the trenches, but something that we saw the Chiefs struggle with, you feel like they addressed it enough in free agency with bringing in or trying to fortify both sides of the line there with Jalen Moore on the 2-year deal, with the moves that they made on the defensive side of the ball too. How are you feeling about that? Because trenches win championships.
Absolutely. I say this first and foremost, what's important is protecting PM15, bottom line. And so we seen last year how that critical decision to move Joe Thuney out to left tackle because nobody was able to fit in that position, how it affected us. And so somebody who didn't really play left tackle, but Joe did an amazing job. He did an amazing job. But having somebody who specializes in this, Jalen Moore, obviously we got a free agent from San Fran, and then having Josh Simmons there, you have to put people there to protect PM15. He facilitates everything. If we don't have PM15, we're just not winning. That's reality. We will win games. Now, don't get me wrong, because we got bad dudes all over the place, right? But the trenches is more important than anything else. And so what we've seen, Cole, is every team in the AFC and in the NFC understands that the Chiefs are very dangerous. And they know The one person that you got to stop is PM15. So you've seen the Chargers go and, get pass rushers, right, to stop him. Same thing with the Broncos, right? Benito and all those guys. Well, they knew stop PM15 and you have a chance to stop the Chiefs. So the trenches are where it's at. That's where the games are won. Everybody talks about scoring touchdowns and all that. The trenches are where the game is won. And like you said, fortifying that, and the Chiefs making such a crucial decision to bring somebody in on both sides of the ball, that's going to do as well. So I think they did a great job with the scouting department, but also Veach and those guys. I don't think they get enough credit, Crow. Nobody talks about them enough, right? They don't want to talk about them. They want to talk about the players. But I think Veach and those guys need a attaboy and a pat on the back for what they've done.
Yeah, heck yeah. It's not easy. I could never do it to sustain a roster, especially with the turnover, but then you've got a bunch of guys on big contracts. So it's like trying to get hits on draft picks, which I think 2022 was probably Veach's best draft. 2023, there were a couple hits. 2024 is still like to be determined for me. I need a couple more years, or at least one more to know. But hopefully this class is as great as we think it can be as well. Even we didn't mention him, but like linebacker Jeffrey Bassa is another guy that's like, ooh, I'm excited. But yeah, very important when the Chiefs can't protect Patrick Mahomes, or just when the pressure is able to get there and disrupt the flow, you lose Super Bowls, and you lose them pretty badly. If you can just protect Mahomes, you win. You win Super Bowls. As crazy as floor is overtime in the AFC Championship. What a time to be alive. What a time to be a Chiefs fan. How are you feeling about the state of the Chiefs in the AFC West as a whole? Just because there's been so many, I think, great moves. Raiders bringing in Pete Carroll. You got Geno Smith, Brock Bowers, Ashton Genty. You have Max Crosby. We could go down the list of every single team. You mentioned a little bit the Chargers and the Broncos, but how are you feeling about the state of the AFC West? You still feel like the Chiefs, I would assume, are the top dogs, but maybe they're not a skyscraper ahead of everybody else. You feel like that gap is narrowing, at least with sound coaching and bringing in some talent into those rosters?
Oh, man. Yeah, without a doubt. The Chiefs are still on top. No question about it. Everybody's been chasing them, right? They are the barometer. Yeah. They are the measure. And so what we've seen teams do is, hey, let's employ getting, a Harbaugh here, or let's go get a Sean Payton and let's get a Pete Carroll and those guys here. Well, why? Well, because you got an Andy Reid. You got one of the greatest coaches to ever coach the game as your head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs. So you need to go get some legendary coaches that can at least try to compete against these guys, not to mention Spags too, right? Spags, incredible defensive coordinator, one of the best ever. And so these teams are understood. Listen, if we want to be able to compete against the Kansas City Chiefs, Super Bowl champions, 5 Super Bowls in 6 years, we got to go out there and try to get our best. And so I think it's what it's been. I think the play has been to try to compete against the Chiefs and try to, at least compete against them. So yeah, it has, I would say maybe the talent in itself, Cole, has diminished just a little bit, but only a little bit now, okay? The Chiefs is the one still on top. And I think what we did is we just re-upped with these young guys you just talked about. I think we re-upped to say, we're going to play fast, we're going to play hard, and we're going to come hit you in the mouth. So offensively, we're going up top and score points. Defensively, we are coming after you.
Yeah, I'm really excited this year about the defense, especially if that coverage can be a bit more sticky. I think it's going to help the pass rush be able to get home a little bit more efficiently. Like the pass rush and the D-line as a whole, it wasn't much different from 2 years ago to last year, but the coverage noticeably declined, and you just saw weaknesses there that quarterbacks could just be like, that's not Trent McDuffie, I'm throwing it over there, or whatever, right. and it did affect the pass rush's ability to get home. They were still top 5, top 10 in most categories, but 2 years ago, it was like top 3 in most categories, and I'm really hopeful. It's funny, as much of a machine Mahomes is, Kelsey, all the high-flying fireworks that we were used to when Mahomes first became the starter, I don't even know. I want that for sure. Yes, it's exciting, but as long as that defense is elite with Spags doing his thing, Mahomes knows he can play calculated. He doesn't have to force anything, and they can just go out there and do their thing. But if the defense is struggling, that's when it just affects it's a chain reaction. They have to press. They have to force themselves. There were so many one-score games last year. Was there one in particular that you were like, wow, that was a crazy ending out of all the one-score games that happened last year?
It was probably the block field goal from Chanel That had to be the one that I'm
That's
sitting there
crazy.
like, oh,
It's blocked. Oh my God.
yeah. I'm just like, wow. Because everybody just thought, well, the game's going to be over. And you needed something, a miracle. You needed the play to happen. And Leo Chanel, the whole time, people didn't know. He's picking out the guy that he was going to attack every single time, kicking field goals. And so you do a lot of that in film study. And so what you do see is, the type of attention to detail to win games comes to fruition. And Spags and those dudes do a great job. Dave Tobe and all those, these guys understand what it means to win championships. And what they do is they put guys in position to win, to make plays and to win. So that probably is the one that sticks out to me, Cole, more than anything else. But man,
that one was insane.
Yeah, man. So you're absolutely right. I do believe, because Spags is such a genius in what he does, our defense is complex. It's hard for offenses to understand what he's doing. And that in itself, I think, gives us an advantage, because we will bring a guy all the way from 15 yards and blitz, right? We'll bring the corner probably more than anybody else in blitz. I think people are starting to kind of catch on because they're trying to do a little bit more. I start seeing the other teams like, man, they wasn't even using the corner to blitz more. Y'all been watching a little bit of Spags. And so we know we got a great group of coaches on our staff, man, that gets the guys, prepared and ready to win.
Who do you feel like could be just some of the biggest threats to the Chiefs this year? Not even threats, just competition. I mean, I'm assuming you're just going to, at least in the AFC, the two teams that probably everybody says, the Bills and the Ravens, because they're always up there. But is that kind of who you see as like, hey, if it's not the Chiefs in the big game, it's probably one of those two, or the Chiefs will have to go through one of those two teams in order to make it back again? Is that kind of how you're seeing the AFC right now?
I do. The Ravens, they got better. Same with the Bills too. Cincinnati, they gave a lot of boatload of money to the wide receivers. We don't quite know what they're going to do defensively, which might affect them. But also too, what they did is they fortified their offensive line as well, trying to protect Joe Burrow. And they are the same thing. If you keep him upright, it gives them a chance. But those are the three teams that you have to look at. The fourth, man, I'm going to be honest with you. The Broncos look good. They're not somebody just sneeze at. And so when you have a Super Bowl coach in Sean Payton, you know what you're doing. And to be honest with you, Harbaugh too, right? Pete Carroll, all those guys have been to the Super Bowl. It's probably the hardest division in football, if not you're looking at the NFC North. So that's the way I look at it right now. As far as like cachet of coaches and players, AFC West is probably the best. NFC North is probably second to that. So, and then you could go NFC East, right? With Philly and Dallas and all those guys and the Commanders.
Speaking of Philly, I know you played a few years for the Eagles, and then you went to the Chiefs and played there for whatever that was, 7-8 years before you were 34 like me and we're done. But you saw the Chiefs and the Eagles face off in the Super Bowl twice in the span of a few years. What was that like for you as a player who had played for both of those organizations watching that game? I'm just kind of curious. I'm just a fan, always been a Chiefs fan, but you've literally played for both of those organizations for several years, the Chiefs twice as long, if not almost 3 times as long. But what was it like for you watching these two teams play in the biggest game, brightest of lights?
I say this, I'm always, I have love for Philadelphia. They was the one that I cut my teeth with. They're the one that gave me a chance and opportunity when I came out. So I still have love for Philly. Still have a lot of friends that are still involved with the organization. I still talk to people that are in the ticket office, all those different things that are around. And so the confliction came in. It depends on who wins the Super Bowl, because I get an invite for both. So it's like Philly wins, they're like, oh, come up here for the parade. I'm like, oh no. Kansas City wins. I'm like, yeah, I'm going after for Kansas City, right? I mean, my loyalty's in Kansas City, but I still have love for Philly. So if I don't want any other team to win, Philadelphia would be the other team for sure. But man, like I said, I have a lot of friends, tons of friends, and I still got a lot of respect for Philadelphia. But when you see this right here, KC, and we're doing Chief concerns, we always know what it is. It's right here, Kansas City Chiefs, right? So, but I still got love for them, man. That's it, Cole. I still got love for Philly.
Those two teams are interesting just because there's a lot of ties Eagles Chiefs with Andy Reid coming over from Philly, and he brought guys with him. Veach followed him over. So it's an interesting dynamic. Obviously, I would have preferred to beat them in Super Bowl 59, or at least it be a close game. Good God. But yeah, it's always much respect when you're able to ball out at the brightest of lights and everybody watching. And it's unfortunate that it ended the way it did. But heading into this season, how are you feeling about the team overall? Would you say, hey, the Chiefs are my current, it's way too early, but my current Super Bowl favorites until just kind of proven otherwise, at least to make it there? Where's your mind at with the team, and just how you feel like the roster's shaping up as we head into mandatory camp and training camp?
Like I said before, I love the direction it's going. And I'm just going to be completely honest to you. The Chiefs are coming out for a reckoning this year. I think they got embarrassed in the Super Bowl. And the thing was, everybody downplayed their success last year. Either it was because the refs helped the Chiefs out, right? Or it was because something happened and, was unfortunate and we got the wrong call. Or all the Chiefs are always, they're cheating here and they got the breaks. It's something else. It's never attributed to the players. It's never attributed to the coaches doing their job. It's always something else. And I think that, those guys, they took offense to it, as they should. So when I'm talking about this year, it's going to be Travis's last year. It's going to be hard to stop him. It's going to be hard to stop Patrick Mahomes. Patrick's got a new look. He done shaved his hair a little bit, right? So he's got a little bit lighter. I think he's became a little bit more laser focused on the things he wants to do. And we see this in the off-season workouts. He's got the guys already prepared, getting ready. Hey, look, man, we are coming out here for blood. We are coming out here to put everybody on notice, to let everybody know we are not playing around. We've been the Kansas City Chiefs. We've been the best team in the past 6 years, and everybody knows it. But what they've been doing is they've been diminishing our success. And so, Cole, I truly believe up and down the line, if you look at it, Chris Jones, Trent McDuffie, Karlaftis, Bolton, on offense, Travis Kelce, Kareem Hunt, Pacheco, Rashee Rice, Hollywood Brown, these guys are hungry to get this thing done. And so I think what we've done is we have bolstered the entire offense. We've bolstered the entire defense, and we are coming in and take no prisoners. And I'm here for all of it. And I tell you what, I kind of give a quick little plug for everybody. Come to Chiefs Concerns, man, and come check us out on Friday night. And I give my little coach's spiel when I come in and look at the Dungeon Keys to Victory. It's a treat. It's a little fire that I give. And it's coming from my coach's hat. I coached for 12 years also. People don't know that. But I'm giving a little glimpse as far as giving you a little pep talk, okay, getting everybody riled up and ready. And so some of the players, I think, get a little taste of it. Mike Pennell came on our show, said he kind of looks from the shadows every once in a while. So it's always a good thing, man. But Cole, without a doubt, I think the Chiefs are still number one. I think they're still on top. And I'm not going to bet against them. I'm not. You'd be a fool to do it. If you do, fine, okay? It's your money, whatever you feel like. But for me, my money, my thoughts, and everything else is going to go for the Chiefs. It's going to be hard to stop those guys, really.
I always appreciate your input, your insight. You played in the NFL for many years. Is there one play or one moment that stands out to you in your NFL career that you're like, I will never forget this one? If somebody says, hey, what was the play? Or what was the moment on the football field that you'll just never forget? It could be random. It could be funny. It could be a hard hit. Is there anything that stands out that you're like, I'll never forget that one?
Yeah, it was my first touchdown. No question about it. It was a wide stick, so it was a 5-yard out and up move in the end zone. Ty Detmer throws it up. Only I could go get it, and that's what he said. I climbed the elevator, got up there, and grabbed that bad boy in between two defenders. Eric Davis, I think, was the safety on it. But I was actually I was put in a picture last night, and I was looking at it, and I was just like, wow. I can remember the moment. I can remember the thought. I can remember the thinking, everything. And I was kind of lost. I didn't know what to do. When I scored, I didn't know. I kind of threw my hand up in the air, just a little, kind of silly, because I was caught up in the moment. But that thing right there, I would never forget that feeling. I came from a smaller school, so I didn't have 80,000 fans, cheering my name. And in that moment, the type of glory that I felt catching the football and the adulation of all my teammates, man, it was absolutely, absolutely exciting. So there's tons of memories. And I got one more.
Here's a question. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
One more memory I got is when we played in the playoff, we had a first round bye, and we played Indianapolis Colts. Coming in Arrowhead Stadium, man, I have never felt the energy of the stadium like that. Deafening. And it's like it just, reverberated everything. The whole stadium, the ground, and all of that was just shaking. Incredible feeling.
I don't know if this was the same exact game, but Jeff Saturday, former Colt, talked about coming into Arrowhead for a playoff game, and he said it was so loud that his ears was ringing for days after, which is crazy.
Yeah, man, that probably was the game, because Jeff Saturday, I mean, and I've seen him, several times, run into Jeff, man. And we always used to talk about the Kansas City and Indianapolis rival for what it was. But man, when I'm telling you the energy in the air, I mean, it's concrete seats, but it felt like everything was rattling like it was all metal. I never felt anything like that ever. When he's talking about deafening, oh my gosh. It's just amazing. So crazy times, brother. Crazy times.